Well, good morning, everybody. I did not forget about you. Sorry I'm running a couple minutes late, but Mars is station going retrograde, so the energy is a little bit. Anyways, welcome to Tarot Time. If you're new, welcome. If you're old like me, welcome. And thanks for being here. This is the Medium channel where we bring you the spirituality behind the message in these amazing awakening times. So today we are going to do a kind of a special edition of Tarot Time in honor of Halloween, of Samhain, of El Dia de los Muertos. So we'll do our reading sort of with that theme in mind. So what happens this time of year in the temperate climate here in the northeast of the United States? Things die off. So we celebrate this time of death, of dying, but because death and dying is a rebirth. So yeah, we also have Mars as station now. We have God, a lot going on astrologically. We'll see if Sharita makes it on, but Mars is station and it's in Gemini. It's been in Gemini, I think, since August. I don't have the details, but Mars is now stationed. And when planets station, there's a focus of the energy on that planet. So Mars is energy, but it can also be about wars and conflicts. So we get the word martial from Mars. So that's going on, and Uranus and Saturn are still squaring. Uranus tends to blow things up. Saturn wants everything to be very grounded and very disciplined. But Uranus is anything but that. So these two forces are clashing in the world now. And we have the USA elections coming up during a lunar eclipse, with Mars still stationing, but really starting to go retrograde. So there's a lot going on, and we've been talking about this time for a while. So here we are, but today, well, actually, tomorrow is All Hallows Eve, so November 1st, All Saints Day, Candlemas is in February, but um, but um, but in any event, special time of the year. A lot of cultures around the world, from Native American to Mexico to Europe. In Europe, the pagans and Wicca and Celtics, they're all celebrating this time. And yeah, again, this is really the time of death and rebirth, and that's really what this time of the year is about. What these holidays, what these celebrations are all about. And the veils between the worlds are thin around this time, and it's just sort of a natural yearly phenomena that happens. And we always do a mediumship here on the here on the medium channel, do some free live mediumships. We're going to do that tonight at 7. So we always do that around this time of year, and really 8 times during the year that overlap the Celtic Sabbaths for the wheel of the year. So that's what we're doing. So hi from Florida, from Tash Pink, the artist, and hi Yvonne and Angela and MT and Mulbear and Colleen and Rashmi and anybody else that I'm missing that's not on the thread right now. So what we like to do is do a meditation card for the week for us. Um, and then do a 3 card spread, just to, what's going on in the world around us, how that's affecting us. Some of the stuff may come up as personal predictions for you. Some may be more general for this community, and others may be what's going on in the world around us. Now, we're coming into November on Tuesday, so I think Tuesday evening I'm going to do the psychic forecast for November. And I was looking back in October, and everything was very accurate except for one point that didn't seem to make sense to me in hindsight. And for those of you that watched me in October do the psychic prediction might remember that I was getting this image of an American flag on the ground and some kind of military or government funeral or something like that. I mean, nobody, you know, no heads of state died, right? I don't know what that meant or what that was about, but I think it was symbolic, or we may see that energy transplanted to November. But things like concerns over new COVID variants that happened. I don't remember everything, but I was just looking at that and say, yeah, that came through and that came through. But one of the things we were talking about is that really November is really where this whole like core of this earth change, or this great awakening, or whatever you want to call it. We've been kind of sort of lingering in the cusp of that for a while, for a few years. I think, even before COVID, that period started. But now we're coming to the core of it. So things are likely to change very quickly. It can be a challenging time, but again, my feeling and my advice for everybody is that we really, this is what we want. We want the world to change. We know it's not sustainable. We know that the way things are set up is very unfair for the great masses, that benefits the very, very select few. And it just has to change. So it's, yeah, with the level of resistance, the level of programming and everything, it's just not a smooth transition. So the idea is the more that we can awaken and the more that we can assist others in awakening, and you can't make people awaken. You can't make people step out of the programming. Just don't even try, because you'll just get frustrated, or even worse, you'll get attacked. But you can be a beacon of light. You can be a beacon of love. You can be a beacon of hope. Genuine hope, not like hopium or false hope, but genuine hope, because things have to change. And in our heart, we understand, what it would take for this world to be a beautiful place. I mean, it already is a beautiful place, but for our culture and our society to really function and work and really be beneficial and fair to everybody, so that we can live in a world where we're at peace to explore our spirituality, to explore our roots, to practice whatever religion that we wish to practice, or whatever spiritual path, without, criticism, without scrutiny, or without one force trying to overtake another force in order to control other people, and control the masses, and force their ideologies on the people. So this is the shift. It's a shift in consciousness from that very kind of egoic survival, like primitive, mentality, to more of a compassion based spiritual mentality. So that's where we're at right now. And again, the transition's not easy. We may, everything's fluid, so I don't want to put things in absolute, but we may see suffering in this world on a scale that we've never seen before. So prepare for that. Be compassionate and open your heart. um, but again, this is what we want, because we want the world to change. We want things to be fair for everybody. The price of freedom, the cost of freedom. You know, again, it's all a matter of fluidity. The more people that are able to open up and not hold on, and accept change, because that's an inevitable part of life anyway, the easier and the smoother the transition will be, and the less suffering that'll happen. So that's what I have. I just want to peek at your comments here. All back to God during this time. Thank you, MT. Yeah. Um, exactly. So, whatever our concept of God is, energy, spirit, the creator, um, consciousness. But that's what this is all about. They talk about we're in. This is the beginning of the Aquarian age. I've been seeing more and more about the second coming of Christ. I don't believe that that's going to show up in one person like it did with Jesus 2,000 years ago, when we were starting the Piscean age. Then, so that was the sage, or the Christ of the Piscean age. Now in the Aquarian age, it may be more like a lot of people that may not just be one person. It may be people from other dimensions, or other planets, even, or beings from other dimensions. So I have a surprise for you, because I got a gift from Amy from uh, elevated intuition, spirituality, and tarot. She's starting to do her readings again, so you can check her channel out. I think it's called Elevated Intuition, Spirituality, and Tarot. Um, but anyway, thank you, Amy, if you're watching or if you're here for these beautiful what are these called? Sacred geometry activation cards. We'll pull one near the end with that. But let's do a meditation card now for us, for everybody that's here. And that includes people that are going to be here watching this as a video, because more people watch me later than live. Or us, I shouldn't say me, us. We are a team, we are a community, we are consciousness, we are love. And tarot is a tool, and I've often referred to it as the book of life, or every conceivable possibility in life is somehow encoded in these 78 cards. And just a little background or history that officially the tarot came from print or painting from an artist named Bonifacio Bembo in the 1500s. I think it's 1521 if memory serves. So it's in the Renaissance times, in the court of King Ferdinand II. But what scholars started to notice is, even though it was in Renaissance times, the prints were very medieval, and they could trace back the symbolism and trace back to ancient Hebrew, Jewish lineage, ancient biblical lineages, and other things. And as they started to look into the symbology of the card, they started to understand that maybe this is like a wisdom tool. You're not just it actually became a game called karaoke, and playing cards really came from tarot cards. So there's a little more nugget of history for you. But then they was used a lot for meditation, and then for divination. And when I do tarot readings, it's divination, it's not fortune telling. So I'm not going to tell somebody this is going to happen this year at this time. I'm going to just say what spirit is saying through the cards, and let people know that predictions are always choice centered. If we don't like it, it's just spirit's way of saying we've got to change our vibration and frequencies so that we can modify the outcomes that are being shown in the reading. So again, divination is for wisdom, not as an absolute. So anyway, it's a beautiful day in the Catskills. Very frosty this morning. It's been frost like every morning now, so we're in that season for sure. But it's bright and sunny. All right, so I just need to clear my mind a second. Okay, so bring me to this card here. Interesting. This is an interesting card to pull for a meditation card. And I could just hear my mind. Oh, no, I'm not meditating with the devil. Ain't going to happen. No way. Well, everything's symbolic in the tarot. And, Satan could be our best teacher, if you think about it in that level. But everything in tarot is symbolic, and basically the meaning of this card is addressing things that keep us at bay in life, things that hold us back from our own growth and our own progress. So this is actually an excellent meditation card, because you can come face to face with your own demons through this meditation, working with this card. Now, this is also about the sign Capricorn. So there's a side to this card that could be about success, that could be about hard work. It's very Saturnian energy, because Saturn rules the sign Capricorn. And we have Saturn squaring Uranus. Now, Saturn's the structure. Uranus wants to blow those structures to smithereens, basically. And these planets are squaring. Squares are tensions in astrology. We've had this aspect going on for a good part of the year. I think it comes exact this week. That's why I was hoping Sharita would come on, because she has all the goods, but she's not here. So anyway, so the way we meditate with the card is we just simply clear our mind, get into, get present, always presence, right? When we meditate, we stop the thoughts. We start with our breathing, and through that we can get present. And then the next thing is, you can either use your deck, or this is the Hanson Roberts deck. You can take a snapshot. You just kind of step through the door, see the whole panoramic view, and just be in that energy and vibration. When you step in, the first thing is, what do you feel? And that starts, because feeling is energy. So that's when you start to enter into this cosmic world of key 15 in the tarot. So this is six ruled numerology also, which is Venus ruled. And the devil, on a positive note, wants dominion over the physical. And one of our important spiritual lessons, being humans having, being spirits having human experiences, is learning the art of manifestation, because everything's energy, and everything's a reflection of the energy that we emit out into the cosmos, both individually and collectively. So to learn how to manifest consciously means you must get into your spirit. It's a spiritual practice. It takes spiritual discipline. To counter and change your programming takes a lot of spiritual discipline. You've got to be present, you've got to be engaged in the heart, and you've got to be willing to be in it for the long haul, because it's through the power of repetition is how, firstly, our minds change through a scientific process known as neuroplasticity. Through the power of repetition, the neurons that fire together wire together. So if you're in your mind creating a new reality day in and day out, the neurons in your brain, the chemistry of your brain starts to change. And as your vibration changes, then that changes energy. And what is energy? It's electrons, it's subatomic particles, it's quantum reality. So as you change things on the quantum, it has to change on the macro physical level. It may take months or years to do that. So learning how to manifest your goals and desires, there's a reason why you want good things. We gravitate towards joy and happiness because it brings us closer to spirit. It brings us closer to God. And so by manifesting that, by learning the spiritual discipline required to change your reality from the inside out, to change the circumstance in your life, is a high level spiritual discipline. And if you master it, you've mastered part of the reason that you came into a physical body in the first place. Now, the thing is, with the devil, or the symbology of the devil, you know, the thing is, if you what you resist persists, but if you walk hand in hand with the devil and you understand, that's how you evolve and grow past that energy. So, there's a lot going on. So don't get freaked out. That's my long explanation about don't get freaked out. That's with manifestation in mind. So the Children's School of Yoga is Doreen Foxwell, and she's going to be with us at 5 o'clock doing a yoga class live here. And then at 7, we're going to do the mediumship here. So good morning. So again, so if you it's Halloween. If you dare to meditate with the devil, go for it. And you he may wind up being your greatest teacher. And the idea is, again, to evolve past that. Now, we're faced with a lot of satanic stuff. It's Halloween. There's a lot of zombies out there. This is zombie apocalypse. People are programmed, not just through education, through their parents or whatever, but now there's technology. There's Wi-Fi signals. There's cell signals. And it's a charge, it's a frequency, and they can use that frequency to program the human mind. And I don't have any proof, but I'm pretty sure that they're doing that. The thing is, don't be afraid. That when we're in fear, then then basically we're easily controlled and manipulated. So the idea is to not be in fear, and to I need something to drink. Yeah, but embrace that instead. Of course I just lost my train of thought. The devil made me do it. um, but again, the point being is that we're that's what we're faced against. The devil's card is really about what's keeping us from evolving and growing, what's keeping us stuck, basically. And we have all this programming going on, and these powers that be that don't want us to evolve. They don't want us to grow and to be spiritual, because then we're not controllable anymore, and that's what they seek to do. That's what the energy the devil seeks to do, is control, have dominion over us. So if we go with it and we accept it, then we get to know the enemy, and then that's how we evolve past it. So it's a phase of our evolution. The major arcana, which are these types of cards that have the pictures and the numbers in it, not the court cards or the suit cards, that depicts the fool's journey or the spiritual path. And in every spiritual path, at one point, we have to overcome the devil. So we do that by embracing first. And that's how we overcome it, by resisting it. We'll always be locked into mortal combat. That's not the way it happens. Even in the Bible, Lucifer eventually returns back to God once the dirty work is all done. So it's a cycle of evolution anyway. I think I explained that enough, right? In about 3 different ways. Do we get it? Let's do a 3-card spread now. So this will be kind of covering the week ahead. Okay. I'm just clearing my mind, pulling cards. This way. Okay. Hold on a sec. I need to do that over. What do I always tell you guys? When you're thinking, you're not connecting. When you're connecting, you're not thinking. So I got to stop thinking and start connecting here. Okay, that feels better already. I feel back in the flow. Yay. All right. Actually, these are nice cards this week, by the way. They're not so daunting, even though we're coming into November. But here's what we got. So these are the cards we pulled. That'd be the King of Cups, the Two of Pentacles reversed, and the Two of Wands reversed, or not reversed, upright. And what gets my attention right away are the twos. And we have Mars stationing in Gemini, the sign of duality. And I think one of the overlying messages for us is really understanding the concept that all opposites are really one and the same. They're just two parts of the same whole. And duality is inevitable. Without duality, there's no physical universe. um, so that's part of the physical universe. It's a binary code. Everything is either a 0 or a 1, and all numerology stems from those two numbers. One can be looked at as the sacred phallus, and 0 the sacred yoni, just based on the shape. So one has more of an active yang, male vibe, and the 0 more of a yin or female. And so we have both here. We have the circle, right, the pentacle, and then we have the wand, which is the staff. So we have both the the sacred male and the sacred female, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And I think one of the messages for us here just as a general spiritual message, is to really marry those two and understand that part of the agenda is the force duality. Like I said, we physical universe, there is duality, but remember, all opposites are part of the same whole. Then we have the King of Cups leading it off. Now, the King of Cups tend to be, represent somebody who's wise, that's compassionate, um, that rules from the heart, basically. So I feel like what it's telling us, as a group here, because we're all conscious and awakening, or awakened, or in some level of our awakening, to rule with our heart, to understand, the cups are about emotions and feelings, and we mustn't be afraid of that, even if they're difficult emotions or feelings. We have to be okay and allow ourselves to feel in order to evolve and to grow. Um, no, so specifically, I think some of you are really, in a bit of a conundrum about like where to invest your money, or run or what to do with something financially or stuff like that. I think that there's one or two of you that are really just juggling. That's what the Two of Pentacles does. Really juggling like things around family, and maybe thinking about holidays, and I'm not really getting along with this, these people, do I need to subject myself or whatever? Now, of course, only you can make that decision, but what Spirit is saying is, we have to make decisions to validate ourselves. And that's not being selfish, it's being empowered. It's taking care of ourselves so that we can be selfless. Otherwise, if we say yes to other people that we really want to say no to, we wind up saying no to ourselves. And that's really being selfish in my book, at least from my experience, growing up, and a lot of my adult life being a people pleaser, and caring what people thought about me, and wanting to people to think good about me and all that. And doing like what would, on the outside looking in, seem like a considerate, selfless act, would really be more of a selfish act, because I didn't want to feel like the other person's negativity or rejection or anger. So you know don't necessarily listen to other people. What I'm finding is the phenomena of gaslighting has really gone through the roof. I've been saying since the last couple of months, but it's been going on a lot longer than that. We really have to watch out for those forces that want to stop the awakening. And I'm finding, because I go to other YouTube channels and I comment, and that's how one of the ways I build community for the Medium channel, but also how I meet people and share my ideas, and then I make friends also, and I've met some amazing people, and I've connected with some really good channels. So, on that note, just quick shout outs to Armand Diaz of Integral Astrology. He does his weekly and monthly forecast now. To Amy of Elevated Intuition, Spirituality, and Beyond, for her amazing tarot work. For Adam Z and his Manifest Yourself channel, my favorite law of attraction channel, because he really dives into the energy and what's behind that. And also to Lily Nova Starseed. And she does amazing activations on Sunday afternoons. And if you want to check her out and do her activation, I won't accuse you guys of cheating on me. I promise. For those of you that are new, I do activations also. But I was watching her and Tony Rodriguez, who's connected with UFOs and stuff. They were talking about the UFO conference in Orlando that just happened, and how they had people, death threats on the speakers, governments, people coming in and trying to just wreak havoc. It kind of reminds me of like the Grateful Dead and their song New Speedway Boogie, about Altamont, how Woodstock was so peaceful, but for Altamont, they hired Hell's Angels to stir things up, and then the media will be like, "See, the hippies are violent. See what's happening here." So it's the same kind of thing. They bring people to stir up trouble, to try to squash the awakening, and try to squash the knowledge, because we have connections with interdimensional beings and extraterrestrial beings, and they want to help us, they want to benefit us, but there's also these conflicts that go on in other worlds that affect this world. And it's really, it's good to know, what's going on other levels. So, people that believe that they're star seeds, or that they've been abducted, or have actually worked on space stations that are collaborations from our governments and extraterrestrials, that there's a lot of supporting evidence. I personally have not experienced that, so I'm not saying it's real or not, because I don't know, because I wasn't there. But there's very compelling evidence, and a lot of remarkable consistency amongst people that never talk to each other, from different parts of the world, that had the same experiences, and a lot of overlapping. And then look up Dolores Cannon also, because she's done a lot of work on the topic. So anyway, for whatever reason, these cards are getting me to talk about that while I was doing my shout outs also. But in any regard, yeah, so I just need to turn this around and just get a little bit more information for you guys. The other feeling about this is creating community. Now, I also get the feeling that uh, there's a comment that just caught my eye. Excuse me one second. Thank you, Michelle, for that. Yeah, because this is zombie apocalypse. That's what we're experiencing here. That's what the programming is doing. People are sleepwalking out there. Thank you. And she's saying that um, I can just show you guys. I have the technology to do the cell phones. I'm not paying attention. Thank you. Yeah, we thank you for that thought. And get out into nature. We talk about that virtually every week. You know, just feel the flow. There's a force that wants to restore us. It's you plug into God, plug into spirit, because there's a force that will restore all the damage that's being done by all the EMFs and the 5G and the LTs and all that's going on, as well as our own emotional stuff, as well as all the programming that diminishes our energy, that causes disease, that causes suffering. Going in nature, breathing, opening your heart, feel your heart expanding. When you expand the heart, you activate the mind. That's been proven through science now, that's true. And when your heart and your brain blend, you start to become coherent with spirit also. So that's what heart brain coherence is. Coherency in the heart means you feel compassion, you feel love, you feel gratitude. When that happens, the brain becomes coherent. And you know what? When you're in the heart frequency, you cannot be programmed. That was the thought that, flashback 10 minutes ago when I lost my train of thought. That's what I was going to say. Be in the heart frequency, because when you're actively in the heart frequency, and again, for my regulars, it's like, yeah, I'm right. You've said that last week and the week before and the week before. But when you're in the heart frequency, you can't be programmed. You can't be in that vibration, because you're in the heart frequency. When you're in the heart frequency, you are connected to the divine heart, to God, to spirit, to source. And you are immune to the programming, and that's just the way it is. Of course, we can't be in the heart frequency 24/7, because we run the full gamut of frequencies, emotions, and possibilities. But again, you don't have to be. And it's sort of, the same thing with awakening and the 100th monkey experiment. um, you didn't need half of the monkeys to start doing new habits. You just needed a small threshold, 1% to 3%. Get 1% to 3% of the population to start to feel spirit. The world is going to change. It doesn't need 50%. And if you guys don't understand, if there's somebody that doesn't know the 100th monkey experiment, basically they taught a group of monkeys on an island a better way to open their coconuts. And they found monkeys on the other side of the island started to do that, even though they had no contact. And then they went to other islands, and nearby islands, the monkeys were doing it the new way also. It's just an experiment of collective consciousness. And the powers that be know that. They know that everything's energy. They know about consciousness. That's how they're getting away with it. So we need to be in our heart center, and in that those moments we're immune to that. We can't hold on to grudges. We can't hate people, that did us wrong. And the warrior takes responsibility for everything right and wrong in their world. If somebody got into my life, they were a narcissist. They wound up taking all my money in the end, and leaving me broken. I could very easily, oh, that was such a horrible person. I hate them. How dare they? Or I could go within and say, how did I attract this into my life? What's the lesson? What's the value of it? So that's the difference between being a warrior and a victim. We take responsibility, we assess our playing field, and we come up with strategies rather than moaning and complaining. Oh, the deep state, the cabal, they're ruining everything. There's a virus, it's man-made and whatever. I mean, all that may be true, but the point being is that that we we become aware. That's assessing the playing field, knowing the enemy, but don't complain about it. That diminishes your power. Rather, take all that energy, form community, and let's do something about it, basically. Right. So anyhow, knowledge of will try to increase. Yeah, so here's another comment you guys may enjoy. And thank you also for this comment as well. All right, all right. So, anything else? Oh, let me hide this. This is telling me go out and teach. Again, don't waste your time on those that are not reachable and teachable. But we go out there and share. Don't be afraid to. Um, and this is the time. I think what this is saying, and I'm going to touch on this on Tuesday also when we do the November forecast. But we really have to choose our sides now. The time of assessing, we talked about that a second ago, but it's really about action as well. And Mars is station. Mars is about action. When a planet is in station, there's a focus of the energy of that planet, and it's in Gemini, the sign of duality. So it's really like what ideology are you going to connect with? What spiritual path? What community? What group? Are you going to be more like sovereign and really focus on your spirituality, or pursue maybe being more part of the metaverse and transhumanism and all that stuff? So this is really the time to really decide what direction you're going to go in with your life, especially the spiritual part of it, and what community that you're going to align with. This is the time to be decisive now. Yeah, really. So that's another message, and there's one more. Um, but it keeps coming in and out. So if it comes back, I'll definitely let you know. So what else? I mean, the King of Cups, again, being in the heart, be the king of your own emotions. And that doesn't mean, having control over your emotions. That means allowing yourself to really feel what you're feeling, not to try to deny, or not to try to, if you're anxious or upset, not to try to change that, but rather sit with that. That's what mastering emotions are, because it's just energy. Emotion, energy, emotion. That energy, emotion causes hormones to be released in the body. That's what we feel. So when we have an emotion, we it's basically drugs in the body, and we can get addicted to those drugs. So that's a discussion for another time. But mastery of self, when we master the emotions, we master the self. And again, mastering the emotions isn't controlling or squashing the emotions. It's allowing yourself to be aware of them and to cultivate them, and then cultivate them to the degree where you can create your reality, because that's the engine that powers reality, energy and motion. So if I can, if I want, to be a millionaire, and every day, 2, 3 times a day, I'm sitting and feeling like I'm already there. That I'm donating my money. I'm happy. I'm feeling the emotions already. Then the quantums change. The emotions change the frequencies, which changes physical reality. So in law of attraction work, the carriage does come before the horse. You feel it and then you deal it. Basically feel it till you deal it. So you feel it, and then the magic starts to happen. So again, this is part of changing the programs. Like, if I only had my soulmate, I'd feel so good about it. No, feel good about it now, and that's how you're going to attract the soulmate. Trying it the other way around, you're only going to attract lack of that, because that's where you're focusing on. If I only had this, what does that mean? I'm focusing on the lack of something rather than the attainment of something. So I think this is trying to really drive that point home. But again, watch out, for a lot of manipulation, and they're trying to program the spiritual people, and I see that, and I call them out too. Like I'll leave a comment. Usually these are on the big channels, like the Gaia channel, that have millions of subscribers or whatever. And I'll do something, and somebody will say something very negative, call me an idiot, and then leave this long thing. And then I'll call them out. And what I find, I go back and they take the comment down. So it may even be bots that are doing that, to try to program people out of their spiritual mindset to follow something else that looks attractive on the outside, but it's basically like a subtle form of a cult. I shouldn't say occultism, of cult mentality on the inside. Occultism just basically means the unknown, or dabbling in the unknown. Beware the false prophets. They are trying to, yeah, they really are. We're seeing that a lot. So, you know, trust. That's why to be in your heart, because when you're in your heart, you can always trust. When you're not in your heart, and you're feeling fear or anxiety, you can't trust your intuition, because it's being blocked. When we're in fear, we're basically gearing up for a fight or flight, so we become very hyper vigilant, but just in the physical. So that's another facet of the art of warriorship, is to be able to still stay in your presence and in your power when there's a threat going on. So that's what martial arts training does, by the way. Um, on that out there. But I feel like they're the same. Once you really solve like any dilemmas in your life about which side or who you're going to align with, or what path you're going to follow, the Two of Wands is very good. That's being the student and the teacher. That's actually, rather than being in a duality mindset, it's more like understanding that, like I was saying before, two sides of the same whole. So I think for some of you, there's some decisions around work or around money. I think one or two of you are going to be starting a new job, or get offered a new job, I want to say. And I think there's going to be some travel uh, to somewhere spiritual. I want to say Ireland or Europe. So I think that might tie into one or two of you also. And so let me do a couple of other things. I know it's already 10 of, and I know I get so involved in things that I talk a lot, but um, so what's MT saying? You're Jason Chu, Sadhguru. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Um, the guru is within, basically, and if you really understand that, you can discern the false ones from the true ones. So anyhow, so I have my Native American cards here as well. I have a couple of gourds up here, a peace pipe. So I very much am aligned with, as much as I can be, and follow the traditions. So interesting. This is perfect. So we had the devil card earlier. Very Halloween. We got the devil. Now we've got the death card in the Native American death. and we're in the season of death, El Dia de los Muertos. That's the Mexican celebration. The Native Americans really, have their own version thereof. So let me look at the symbols here first. Oh, I need my glasses. Key 13. Looks Anyhow, find it interesting. I think spirit is with us because, like I said, the meditation card on the devil, and again, the devil can be our greatest teacher at the end of the day. So not to be afraid of that. Um, and then we have the death card. So death is transformation, change. It aligns with through the numerology, through the planet Uranus, because that rules the number 4, or it's aligned in the number 4 in numerology. 13 is, it reduces to 4, so that's change. It's also the sign Scorpio, which we're in the Scorpio season now, deep into the Scorpio season, because tomorrow's Samhain and Halloween. So this is the time for transformation and change. Let the old self die. Maybe even do a little ceremony, tomorrow, tonight, tomorrow, or Monday or Tuesday. I mean, where you do something. I mean, in some Samhain ceremonies, we write down everything we don't want to carry into the new year, because this is the Celtic New Year now. In the Celtic Wheel of the Year, in their traditions, the true beginning is death, because from death comes new life. So we honor death as the new beginning. So you write in paper what we don't want to carry into the new year, and then we toss it into the fire and burn in the fire and give it back to spirit, back to source, back to God. This is the season of the bear, the season of the west, the season of the autumn. So we're getting ready to hibernate and to digest all the lessons that we've learned in the past year, so that we can come out in the spring as the 10.0 version of ourselves, digesting all these lessons and then having a new plan. And I think what we're going to find in this winter season is this is where it's all going to tear down. And I think come the spring and the summer, this is when we're going to start to build it back up again. So again, like we were being shown with all these duality cards, make your choices now, like in the next, with definitely by the end of November, but in the next couple of months. And again, beware of those false prophets. There are plenty of people that are trying to lead you down rabbit holes, and they can manipulate energy, and they can do it in a way like you're in their presence, and you think you're feeling the presence of God, but they're really just manipulating your energy. If you're in your heart, you cannot be programmed. Every day, practice heart meditation, heart expansion. I do heart brain coherence. I got plenty of videos on how to do that here. If you want to go to the experts, check out Greg Braden. I think, I love the way he explains it. It's very simple. Joe Dispenza, of course, Heart Math Institute has a lot of if you feel a little bit funny, based on the sources of their donations to Heart Math Institute, if it feels a bit of a contradiction to you, you can find this information in other places. I'm just saying that because I know they have some bad press as well. I mean, I love their site and what they have to say. I wouldn't. I'll put it this way. I wouldn't like buy the meditations. I feel like just doing heart brain coherence is really what the power is. But anyway, oh, that's really helpful, right? Well, you get to see the back of the card too. Good for you. All right. Anyway, so that's the death card. So remember that when you're in your heart, you won't be fooled. And the guru is within. Nobody outside of yourself is the guru. The guru is, what's that mean? Like the dispeller of darkness or something like that. So your inner guru can take on, can be manifest in a spiritual teacher for sure. Not to devalue spiritual teachers, just be aware of the false ones, and they come in very pretty clothing, and that's the coyote. That's another side of the devil. What tricks us into knowledge. the devil will trick us into knowledge, because the devil can only tempt. Remember that. Um, anyhow, so I have my medicine cards. I've got my angel cards, and I've got my new deck, the activation uh, oracle, or sacred geometry activation oracle. Oh boy. Well, I did say this is going to be a special version of Tarot Times. I'm okay this running an hour over. Hopefully, you guys are, and thank you for being here, because our most valuable commodity as physical beings is our time. Our time is our life, and you're choosing to spend it here. I love you for that, and thank you for being here. So, this is the card they drew me to, the dragonfly. That's about illusion. Um, Neptune's very active also in this time. That's a planet of illusion and delusion. I found Dragonfly very effective, and many summers ago, I found myself under particularly stubborn and nasty psychic attack, from somebody, that practices Wicca or whatever forms of magic or whatever she was doing. But anyway, long story short, at one point I was meditating, and all of a sudden these dragonflies came in, and I just felt like they were here to protect me. And I sent the dragonflies to the person that was sending the bad energy, and it stopped basically, and it was fine after that. So it can be protected, but I do believe in the medicine cards. It's about illusion, and it's key 27, which is 9, and 27 is the liberty in Chaldean numerology. So this is the time of liberty, of liberating ourselves again through the heart. It's so simple, but we're so complicated that it makes it hard. But that's all it takes, is presence and being in the heart. Presence of heart brings presence of mind, which brings presence of spirit. Practice that every day. Our minds are so programmed that just most people can't sit and meditate for 3 minutes without thoughts or anxiety coming up. But that's only because our minds have been programmed. We have to train our minds and retrain our minds. That's what spiritual growth is. It's getting our hands dirty. So illusion, yes, I got that one right. Dragonfly medicine is of the dream time and the illusory facade. Okay, I've read enough. Do your dream work. Somebody was commenting earlier. I think it was on this thread about lucid dreaming or doing dream work. Um, I had the other night after a healing. I'm gonna have Elaine Malloy on the channel in 2 weeks, because she does arch healing, energy healing, and she did a healing on me, through Zoom. Actually, we were talking on Zoom, and my intention was, I've been saying, to myself, in the last several months, I felt kind of stuck in my path. I do my work. I just feel like there's something I'm missing, or something that's just not moving. So I did the healing with her. That night, I woke up in white light. There were beings of light around me, and she described them as interdimensional. I was like, those are the master teachers. That's the group that come through when I do the channeling and I do the energy activations. So they came through, and the next day I just felt different, and just something broke. And then I felt, oh, I'm back. I'm progressing spiritually again. So the healing was great. So she's coming on the channel soon. But in any event, somehow dragonfly medicine got me to talk about that story. But in any event, so dispeller of the illusions and delusions. Yes. All right. There's something else I wanted to say. So last night I got maybe 2 hours of sleep. So if I seem a little bit ungrounded, I apologize. All right. About the dream time. Thank you. Yes. So going back to the dream time. Yeah. So before bed, the thing to do is just connect with spirit. The, right when you're falling asleep, the mind is most suggestible. I recommend making yourself sleep programs and running them a half hour as you're falling asleep, or visualizing what you want or desires if it's already happening. And just connect with spirit and say, I want to remember my dreams. I want to, do lucid dreaming. And when you get up in the morning, have your dream journal and write down, every second you or every minute you wait, you probably lose about 50% of memory of your dreams. And a couple of nights, I did catch glimpses of that deep sleep, that time where we're not in our bodies, we're back in spirit, we're with our spirit loved ones, we're with our guides, we're with our angels. We come into this world, we agree to forget as part of our learning and growth. And part of our learning and growth is remembering who we are. We're spirits. We come into this illusory world, and that's dragonfly medicine. The physical world is an illusion. It's called Maya in Sanskrit. That means illusion. And the belief is that when we die, we go back to who we are. So when we're awake, that really is the dream. And when we dream, especially in deep sleep, then we're awake again. So part of our spiritual learning is to remember who we are as spirit, remember our past lives, remember who our guides are, remember what our mission is, why we're here in the first place. I'm going to do a video on this. Greg Braden and others theorize that the universe is nothing but a holographic program, basically, the holographic universe or the matrix, and then we come here to learn and grow, but it's not even real. And that aligns with what the ancient Vedics were saying also, Maya, illusion. So whether this is a computer simulation, and according to Greg Braden and others, we are very close to actually having that technology now that we could do that. I think he was saying about 50 years off or so. I mean, we may be very advanced beings, and we come into this computer simulation to learn and grow and experience for whatever reason that I wouldn't know. Or it could be a spiritual simulation, have nothing to do with advanced technology, just have something to do with energy or something else. But either way, um, just about any spiritual path mentions things like that. I'm thinking of the Aboriginals and how they honor the dream time as reality also, and a lot of the Native Americans. So that's the illusion. That's the grand illusion right there for you guys. So let's see what the angels are having to say, and then saving the best for last. uh, Colleen, that sounds like Monty Python. The meaning of life. She meant to say great lover of their history, but it came out great liver of their history. And I'm thinking about that skit in meaning of life, where it's like one person convinces the other guy to donate their liver, basically, while they're still alive. So I can have your liver, eh? Oh, sure, why not? All right. Anyway, part of being in a high vibration is keeping your sense of humor. All right, this way, this card. Thank you. And we got Caressa. This is Doreen Virtue's Messengers of the Angels. What did she have to say? You were at the end of a cycle in your life. Well, hello, it's Samhain, it's Halloween. Yes, this is the time of death. And this all happened through spirit. No, I did not fix the card so that everything came out Halloweenish. I promise, as spirit is my witness, this is all from spirit. It's not me planning. I'm pulling these types of cards all the time. So you're at the end of a life of cycle in your life. Call upon your angels to comfort you and to guide you to your next step of happiness awaits you. Call on spirit. I don't care, how spiritual you are or I am or whatever. We're going to have our bad moments, especially, when unless you're an enlightened master. If you've reached sadhana, great. You probably wouldn't be watching me because I haven't reached enlightenment yet. But if you have, good for you. If not, you're going to have your ups and downs. That's part of the cycles of energy, the emotional cycles. And this is a period of mourning. We have to be okay with letting go of things that are familiar in our lives and things that brought us comfort. We don't know how far and how deep and how wide this awakening, this shift is going to be. But looking at a possible worst case scenario, it may be hard to even find food. We may not have power for an extended period or internet. We may need to be more communal living to survive for months or even years. I don't know this is going to happen. I know that it's possible. And my feeling is that we just have to get into the mindset where we're okay, if things change, that things are going to end. It's a good thing, but it can be very challenging in the transitional time. So I feel like what the angels are trying to say is just to be okay with letting things go, maybe downsize a little bit, prepare for the winter. I mean, where I live, I have to prepare for every winter because a nice storm could keep me in the dark and cold for weeks even up here. And we had one last year, in fact, and I was in the pocket where it wasn't bad, which fortunately that's a trend in my life. So we all have our gifts and challenges. I think one of my gifts is that I tend to avoid a lot of the problems with the weather that a lot of people face. You go 2 or 3 miles outside of this area that I live in, the Catskills, and the trees were coated, they were down, power was out. We lost power for like 3 or 4 hours. Basically, they got us up very quickly, and I think we only lost power just because other areas lost power, and in order to restore their power, they had to turn ours off for a time. So, anyways, um, yes. So these are, if I can find them, yes, the Sacred Geometry Activation Oracle cards, and by Lon, and I think you're meant to work with them, and I have to look at the workbook, and but everything has sacred geometry, and that and through the shapes and patterns, that's a way to access higher mind and access spirit. That's one way. Sound patterns, also through sound vibration as well. So everything has a geometry, has a pattern, has a shape, um, and through that energy flows in certain and specific ways. So if you can meditate on these shapes, you can create certain energetic effects that have effects on your life or has effects on your spirituality. So this one up here is calling me very loud, and this is the one that I pulled. So this is called perception. So here's the shape of this one. It's key 35. um Aurora would be a dream to see. Oh, the aurora borealis. Are that what we're talking? Oh, the Adirondacks are amazing, especially the High Peaks area. Amazing energy there. The last time we had a good aurora borealis show here in the Catskills was about 15 to 20 years ago, and that was extraordinary. Yeah. So anyway, so it says, the frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it. So it's interesting because perception's a funny thing. What we believe colors our perception, and this is why it's so hard for people to change their programming. It's because our programming is the lens that we see the world out of, and that's all we know. So all we know is that programming. Um, so it's hard to see beyond that. And I work with a lot of people, some very spiritual people. Like, I dealt with my childhood stuff, I dealt with all the programming, but they're seeing that through the lens of the same programming. And again, how do you change the programming? You go to the heart, you go to that place, of absolute truth, absolute love and compassion. You expand through the heart frequency, and it's through the heart how you access spirit and how you're able to see through the programming, see through the eyes of spirit rather than through the eyes of our ego. And that's when you start to understand what's going on. And that's when you can start to change it. So perception's a funny thing. Most people's perceptions are basically wired from the way that they're programmed. And just as a final thought, in the medicine wheel teaching, they show that we are born in one spot on the medicine wheel, which basically it's round. And it's interesting that these cards have 44, like these sacred geometry activation cards have 44 cards in them, and in the Plains people, the Native Americans, there's 44 medicine shields. I find that numerology kind of interesting also. Um, so anyways, what was I saying before I said that? Something about perception. Oh, okay. Anyways, yeah, the medicine wheel teaching. Thank you, Spirit. And so we're born into one place. Now if we're in a circle, like if we're all sitting in a circle and there's a feather in the middle, from my vantage point, the feather may look long and tall, but the person's 90 degrees to my left, the feather may look short and fat. It's the same feather, but they're perceiving that feather from a different part of the wheel. So that's the Zen cone about perception. If you understand that, then you understand the mystery, and you can start to broaden your perception, so you can start to see yourself and the world around you through the eyes of spirit rather than the eyes of your programming and your social conditioning. Okie dokie. That's what I got for you. So 5 o'clock yoga, 7 o'clock messages from spirit. It's free, and I can't guarantee everyone will get a message because I get anywhere from 50 to 80 people coming in live, but I'll do my best to get to everybody, but we'll have fun anyway. So again, thank you for being here for, I think there's a record long tarot time today, but a lot of you stuck with it. I'm looking at the numbers. A lot of you stayed with me. So again, I appreciate that. I'll just flash MT's comment here because that's an interesting comment. And yeah, one of my mentors, Janet Nohavik, that passed on a few months ago, was a nun for 30 years, and she had to leave the convent because she couldn't keep it secret that she talked to dead people, and that's not exactly welcome in the clergy, in the Catholic clergy. I think in a better day it will be. I mean, there's so many examples of mediumship in the Bible, but in any event, for another day. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. I'll see some of you at 5 at 7.